Level 20 Churchill, baby. Yes, we get max level Churchill in this run. It is super awesome. He's a beast at level 20, as you'll see. The dude is just unbelievable. So the strat really just consists of some cleanup until we can afford Energizer as early as possible. And then from there, we just build around Churchill, give him some support, some cleanup, and just destroy chimps. So let's jump into it. So start with the Dart Monkey on that grassy patch as high as possible. Leave it on first. And then get an NG as left as possible on that same grassy patch. Set the NG to last. And you can turn auto start on because this start is really easy. Originally, I was trying to do this strat with Churchill placed where the engineer is, but the start is really annoying with that strat, so I just decided to go with the usual start on Peninsula, and it worked out just fine. So get larger surface area when you can afford it, at the end of round 7. Remember, don't use code ennui in the BTD6 shop, use code Dorio instead, because he's really depressed right now that he didn't get invited to his mate's Halloween party, and I want you guys to go make him feel better. Get oversized nails mid round 10, because you do need it to beat the final wave of blues on this round, so. Get pin at the end of round 10. Get double gun at the end of 13, or mid 13, doesn't really matter. And then upgrade your Dart Monkey to a 002, enhanced eyesight so we can see the camo on round 24. And the setup is complete in its entirety. We can afford Churchill with just this setup, which is kinda nice. Double gun goes super hard. All you have to do is just clear the top left island after you have $500. And then we get Churchill at the end of round 24. At the end of 24, place Churchill as bottom right on that island that you cleared. The placement doesn't really matter that much, just try and put him more to the right. We do have to fit some other stuff there, so make sure he doesn't take up like the middle part of the island as much as possible. Leave him on first, and you can turn auto start back on. Clear the top right island after you get Churchill. And then before the camos on round 33, get a Spectre as top left as possible on that top right island. The placement isn't really too precise, just try and shove it in there as much as you can, but don't worry about it too much. Over the next few rounds, just upgrade that Spectre to a 320 spiked balls with even faster production. Before the round 40 Moab, get an Alchemist next to your Spike Factory and upgrade it to a 301 Berserker Brew with faster throwing. Round 40 you don't have to do anything because Spalls with an Alch goes hard. Use Churchill's first ability at the start of 43. Make sure he's on first, and you definitely should use that ability. Use Churchill's first ability again, at the start of 47, and then buy spiked mines immediately mid-round. You can take the round slow if you want, but you don't have to as long as you use the ability ASAP. Just buy spines when you can afford it and you'll be fine. After you get spines, get another Alk right next to Churchill, to the left of him obviously, and upgrade it to a 300. Do not buy the cross path. It's really important that you just leave it as a 300. And why that is will become obvious later on, but just leave it as a 300. After that, get a sub and upgrade it to a 400. The range mark you should look at is just below Churchill, and make sure Churchill is in its range obviously, because this guy's going to become our Energizer and allow us to get Churchill level 20. Before 63, set Churchill to strong, and then use that first ability immediately for the first wave. There is a bit of RNG on this round, so if you die, I apologise, but it shouldn't happen. There is a small chance that it does though, if Churchill just whiffs. For 64, set him back to first, and then use the first ability again immediately. 64 shouldn't have any RNG. It gets close every time just like that. You should have about 1 or 2 spines left at the back. But I've never lost to 64. I did lose to 63 one time. But that's Churchill whiffing, so you just gotta hope he doesn't do that. Round 69, buy Energizer ASAP mid-round. It's very important that you buy this mid-round. That's the whole reason that we didn't buy the cross path on our Alchemist, which you should probably do now. I actually completely forget to do that the entire run, but it doesn't actually end up mattering. It just makes Churchill have less pops, but it doesn't really matter. After you get your 500 sub, get a Spectre above Churchill. Really anyway, make sure it's not closer to the Alk than Churchill is. And then just upgrade that Spectre to a 130, Moab Shredder, and bigger stacks before round 75, because that's really the only round we need it by. For 75, use Churchill's first ability on that first BFB. And you'll see me use his second ability a bit too early here, and that makes the round closer. What you really should do is use that second ability when the BFBs are a bit further down the track. What you should also do is upgrade that top right Alchemist to a 401, so give it stronger stim before 75. That'll make the round even less close. I didn't do that here and it gets a bit close, but if you do that, you'll be completely fine. On 77, you don't have to use Churchill's second ability, but I did there and it's just better, so I recommend it. Get Kid Named Spike Storm during 78. Not necessary for these rounds, but it will be necessary in the early 80s. After you get Kid Named Spike Storm, get a Glue Gunner as bottom left as possible on that top right island. So I upgraded that top right Alk to Stim right there. You should have done that before 75, makes the round much easier. In any case, you'll have reached this point pretty easily. Upgrade your glue on that top right island to a 420 liquefier with glue splatter when you can afford it. So that should be mid-round 79. Around 80, use Churchill's second ability on the ZOMG. And then set Churchill to last for the 80s, because he's just better on last now. 81. Use Churchill's first ability on the BFBs, and just watch them get completely destroyed. AP Shells goes hard, and you can use it again during 81 as well off cooldown. And then when you see a lot of Moabs for 81, use Spike Storm. That's going to be the idea, just break the BFBs down into Moabs with Churchill's first ability, and then Spike Storm the Moabs with the Spike Storm ability, obviously. You can also use Churchill's second ability on the FBFBs on 82, but I recommend it doing that later than I did, as you saw. I did it a bit early, so the spikes get a bit thin, but it's fine. 83, you don't have to use the first ability, I just did it for stat padding, but not necessary at all. '84, use Churchill's first ability again. And you can use whatever other abilities you want. Spike Storm, not necessary. Just make sure you get Solver mid 84. And then get White Hot Spikes on your left Spectre. 85. Use Churchill's second ability when both ZOMGs are on screen. And you can use the first one as well. Or just Spike Storm, that also works. It doesn't really matter. As you can imagine, after we get Solver, these abilities aren't really too necessary, but they're just better for Churchill stat padding. Because I didn't get the cross path on my left Alk, I completely forgot the entire run. He gets less pops than he should. On 87, use Churchill's second ability again. When they all come out, all the ZOMGs come out. You can use the first ability as well, and Spike Storm as well if you want, but as you see with Solver, as soon as we have the ZOMGs popped into BFBs, Solver is just going to kill everything, so continue stat padding Churchill if you want. Just make sure you use that second ability on all the ZOMG rounds, so 88. Use Churchill's first for the BFBs on 89. Again, not necessary, Solver will cook, but stat padding is good. Because we want Churchill to have the most pops. 90, you can use his first ability if you want. It doesn't actually do anything, as you can probably imagine, because the DDT is just too fast. But 91, use that first ability on the BFBs and just look at that destruction. Churchill Geyser is insane. At high levels, bro is just insanely strong. You can use it again for 92. Just make sure you use that second ability for the ZOMGs, obviously, because that is our weakness at the moment, but Churchill is great with ZOMGs, and Solver is great with everything else, so yeah, just a goated strat at the moment. 93. Use Spike Storm for the DDTs. Take it slow if you need to. '94. Hit Churchill's first ability, and just watch those BFBs get shredded. Use that second ability as well. And you can use the first ability again. When you see DDT on 95, use Churchill's first ability, and use Spike Storm as well. '96, Churchill's first ability again, and just watch those BFBs get completely mauled. Churchill is a monster in the right situation. Use that first ability again. Second ability for the ZOMGs. And just in time for 97, we can afford Kid Named Carpenter Spikes. Turn off auto start, not because the game is hard, but because I want you guys to admire how beautiful Churchill's pop count is going to look for round 98. So make sure you turn off auto start before 98. Make sure you have this page open for 98. Leave him on last. Use that first ability at the start of the round, and use that second ability, and look at his pop count. It's just flying upwards. He got like 150k pops in one round. It's insane. $99, you can use Spike Storm if you need to. I just did it there because I felt like they were getting a bit thin. At the end of 99, get Churchill level 20, and as you can see, just use that second ability on the bad, first ability as well if you want. And what you should do is, after you get Carpenter Spikes, upgrade your left Alchemist to a 320. If you do that, you'll get over 800k on Churchill. I didn't, because I didn't get the cross path, as you can see, but if you just do that, you'll be completely fine. So, hope you enjoyed the guide. Really, really fun strat. Level 20 Churchill is a monster,